I'm your host, Joaquin, and this is the Football Corner reporting on the 2026 World Cup. Today, I'll be giving you a recap of the 25th matchday of this World Cup. The first game that we had in this matchday was Norway versus Brazil, which ended 2-1 to Norway. This was a deserved result for Norway. In this game, they controlled the ball so well, they were patient with it, and it was a coaching masterclass. Not only did their defense do well to not let Brazil have too many opportunities, but they also did so well in the attack when they had the ball. Although their possession didn't necessarily wasn't necessarily fast and didn't penetrate much at all times, it was very important when it needed to be. And the spearhead of that trident, Haaland, appeared right at the perfect time for them, just like the coach intended it to be. Haaland didn't touch the ball many times before he scored his first goal, but Norway did a great job of getting the ball to him in the perfect situation where he headed it in. And then on his second goal, around 5 minutes later, he controlled the ball well. The Brazilian defense gave him way too much time and space to shoot, and he perfectly placed it in the bottom corner, leaving no chance for Alisson. For Brazil, they just seemed to play at such a low intensity. They weren't pressing at all and they had such low possession, around 34 or 35%. I'm still wondering if it was a tactical mistake by Ancelotti with the 4-2-4 formation, leaving the midfield extremely exposed on the transition and also having no possession at all and not pressing, just like I had mentioned. Maybe it was the heat, maybe it was something else. But this Brazil team looked very different from the Brazil that showed up in the other World Cup games. It didn't have the same intensity. And even when there were moments of quality where they were able to get through on goal and get good chances, they weren't able to finish them, and in the end, that's exactly why they lost. Also, the defense, it did pretty well, but sometimes it did pretty well until the 80th minute, until before Haaland's first goal. But sometimes they were so unorganized, everybody seemed to go to the ball instead of staying tactically disciplined and in position. Especially the midfield tracking back, they were always so lost when they were going on defense. And especially on Haaland's second goal, the defense didn't pressure nearly as much as they should have and gave him way too much space. And Alisson this game, we can't blame him at all because he made some good saves, and the two goals from Haaland were completely the defense's fault, not Alisson's. At the end of the day, that's a completely deserved win for Norway. But if Brazil was playing better, they could have won it, and they should have won it. And this one's completely on Brazil. We can't blame it on anything else. We can't blame it on the referee. We can't blame it on the other team. This one completely comes down to us. The second game that we had in this match day was Mexico versus England. In this game, England did a very good job of picking and choosing their moments. Right when Mexico was a little weaker on the defensive side, when they were pressuring more, around the 35th minute, was when England replied with some lightning quick attacks. Bukayo Saka came down on the wing and he played in a brilliant cross, and Jude Bellingham was able to put the finishing touch on it. And then, right from kickoff, the Mexico team seemed so disorganized and they didn't communicate at all to each other. Immediately losing the ball, England took it up very quickly, Kane crossed it into the box, and Bellingham was there to finish it off yet again. So maybe if Mexico hadn't been disconcentrated from that kickoff, we could have had a whole different ball game. But at least they regained their composure after that and were able to score before halftime. But again, they could have scored more before halftime. They could have equalized before halftime. And that's another reason why they couldn't win, and another reason that they'll be kicking themselves for. Because they had several clear-cut chances to equalize the game before the halftime whistle blew. And England in the second half, they got a red card quite early. The referee was right to give a red card in that situation. Jarrell Quanza's boot came extremely high on Jesus Gallardo's leg. And then right after the red card, Mexico lost concentration yet again, with recently subbed on Edson Alvarez completely misjudging the ball, and Anthony Gordon getting in on goal, and Raul Rangel had to foul him. And then Kane perfectly placed the penalty for England, making it 3-1. After that, Mexico didn't do that great on the attack as they were doing at the end of the first half. The only time that they scored was from a penalty where they weren't even too close to scoring. It was just Kane getting unlucky because Gutierrez put his leg right in front of Kane, right as about Kane was going to kick it. But after that penalty, Mexico just crossed and prayed, and it ended up not working because England put in more defenders and more tall players to defend. In the end, Thomas Tuchel had the perfect strategy for this game, and England showed the intensity that Brazil didn't show in the game against Norway. So it's a completely deserved win for England. It will be very interesting to watch their game against Norway in the quarterfinals, especially since Erling Haaland, Norway's star player, the joint top scorer of this World Cup with Messi and Mbappe with 7 goals. He was born in Leeds, England, and he plays for Manchester City, so maybe there will be some internal rivalries there. So that's it for today. Do you guys think that Carlo Ancelotti should be fired from the Brazilian national team? Me personally, I don't think he should. I think we should give him another World Cup and a full cycle for him to take care of the players and discover new players and test out more things. But drop your answer down below in the comments. Ciao.